All right, then. My name is Sohail Adnan, and I have over 12 years of IT experience. Um, I started my career as a Windows administrator, mostly monitoring the Windows environment and reporting the issue to my seniors, and that is how my journey began. And at various stage in my life, I happened to learn new technologies in the process. I was also groomed by my leader, and I grew into what I am today. Right. So my relevant AWS experience is 4.5 years, but my overall IT experience is 12. Right. I come from various technologies such as Windows, Linux, VMware, automation, right, Puppet Chef, Hyper-V, Azure, AWS, and artificial intelligence, blockchain. Some of these areas is what I'm also working today, right? So a quick introduction about me, right? But I'm hoping that you guys are interested in what is there for you from an AWS perspective. So if you could see my screen, you have a certification track because before you enroll into any program, you'd like to know what paper that you should focus at, how this is going to help you out. Are you in the right track? Right? What is there in the training? Right? Some of these areas is what we will focus now. So if you could see my screen, there are three tracks that are available. Foundational track, um, and then you have associate and professional. Right? Start from grounds up. So if you see the foundational track, there are 4 certifications that are available. Uh, this is for cloud practitioners specifically designed, whether you're from an infrastructure background or from a development or from an operation, right? And foundational track is focused on candidates who has 18, 20, 22 years of IT experience, who is already a manager, general manager, AVP that we are looking at, right? And this training is mostly conducted in hotel, and it is like a 2 days workshop, 3 days workshop where at a very high level they talk about what is AWS, how do you bring them into your business, how do you use them, how it can benefit you, etc. Right? But mostly we are interested in self-learning and grooming ourselves. Hence, let's focus on associate because the entire foundational track is optional, right? And if you see here, it is grayed out. So this is not mandatory that you have to undergo through. We can skip this track and we can focus on associate now, right? So we have mixed target audience here. We have a target audience who have 0 to 2 years who are also fresher in this call. We also have people from 3 to 4 years experience, right? I was talking to Shankar earlier to this demo. He was telling we also have people who are like 8 to 10 years also on this call, right? So I'll try to break down and explain you which certification is right for you based on your IT experience. So from an associate track perspective, you have 3 certification tracks, right? The first one is Architect Associate, right? This is the track that you see here on your screen. And candidate having 8+ years of IT experience, someone who's from a storage networking, server background, right? Who's working with operating systems such as Windows or Linux, virtualization, right? So networking, right? So any IT experience that you have and you're looking to transition to cloud and you have 8 years of IT experience, you're already in L3 right now, you should focus on architect associate because after L3 you will become an architect or a subject matter expert. So that is a direction that you will be pursuing into, and perhaps solution architect is a right paper for you, right? And candidate having less than 8 years of experience, 0 to 2 years, who is in L0 come L1, right? 2 to 4 years, 4 to 6 years that we are looking at. So mostly those candidates having a less IT experience here, and mostly they are L1, L2 position today. Those candidates should focus on AWS SysOps administration. So this is the paper that you see here. So you should be focusing on SysOps administration paper, right? And candidates are from a development background, right? Pure development, who writes code, software development, right? Who has 0 to 2, 2 to 4, and 4 to 6 years of code writing experience. They're not an infrastructure guy, they are developers. Those guys have to focus on AWS developer paper, right? To quickly summarize, if you have 8+, then you will take architect associate. If you're a developer and you write code at work, then you should take developer associate paper. If you're an infrastructure guy who has less than 8 years of experience, you should take SysOps administration, right? So these are the three tracks that are available, and you can write any paper here, any paper that you write based on your experience. There's a paper cost of $150. According to today's conversion rate, I'm assuming about 10,500 to 11,000 rupees, an examination fee that is required for you to directly pay to Amazon. So once you graduate through this program, the certificate is valid for 2 years. The certificate is valid for 2 years, and before the certificate expires, right, even before the certificate expires, if you have done architect associate, you might want to do architect professional. So if you see the arrow here, it is pointing upwards, representing that if you have completed your associate level, you might want to become a professional. You would like to take up a specialization in your architect's role, right? So you will be focusing on architect professional here. If you have done developer, then you can do DevOps engineer, right? Professional. And if you have done sysops administration, you can still do DevOps engineer. So this DevOps engineer and this DevOps engineer is the exact same paper, right? So basically Amazon is trying to represent that whether you do a developer track or an administrative track as a sysops administrator, both of this can be translated into DevOps. So basically your next stage is a DevOps, right? So any paper that you write in your professional track, it will cost you $300, right? About 21,000 rupees as an examination fee, and even this has validity for 2 years, right? Now, can I write professional directly? The answer is no. The examination system would not allow you to register for professional examination, right? You have to sit for associate first, and then take up the professional track, right? So time to time I get questions where they ask, okay, if I do architect associate, can I do DevOps? The answer is no, right? So likewise, if you have done developer or sysops administration, you cannot do architect professional. You cannot do crisscross. The arrows are pointing upwards. If you have done this, you can only do this. If you want to do DevOps, then you may have to do developer or sysops and then take up a DevOps paper, right? So these are the five certification tracks that are available through Amazon today. There are a couple of more papers. If you see here on the right hand side, you have advanced networking, you have big data, you have security. So these are all Amazon has just announced, but there's no examination that you can pay and you can enroll into. They have just announced it. These are the specializations that they have told that they will introduce soon, but it is not available today, right? Now, let's understand what is it this training will be covering. Guys, requesting you to put yourself on mute. And if you have any questions, please park your questions with you. I will take your questions by the end of the session. Thank you. So let's understand what certification programs that we will be covering in this training here. Now, if you've seen the market and if you have read the job description, it has become very important that you learn more than one skills, right? You need to have more than one skill in your resume. This is very important, right? Some of the common use cases that I have seen on the internet. Okay. Just give me a moment here. Let me disable attendees mute here. All right. Right. So let's understand what a training that we will be covering here, what certification track that we'll be covering here. Now, if you see modern job descriptions that are coming in on LinkedIn, Monster, and Naukri.com, they expect you to have multiple skills in your resume. They expect you to know Linux. They expect you to know Windows, cloud. They expect you to know DevOps. They expect you to know automation. Right. So we're in a world where one resource just cannot have one technology and say, okay, I only know this and I'm going to work with this. The expectation has grown more, right? So in order to satisfy the appetite of the interviewer and the organization, so what we have done is we have combined these 4 papers out of 5, right? So what we have done is we have taken sysops administration, DevOps, architect associate, and architect professional. Right. And since this DevOps and this DevOps is the exact same paper, the only left out paper that you have is the developer track. So out of 5 papers, what we have done is we have excluded the developer paper and we have taken the other four papers and we have combined together. The reason why we do this is we want to ensure that you're best of both world, right? If you get a DevOps related job, you can play your role there. And if you get pertaining to architecture and solutioning, you can also play your role there. So from a knowledge perspective, you will have knowledge of the entire AWS platform and its services that it is offering today. But from a certification perspective and your IT experience that you carry, you can take either a SysOps administration track if you have less than 8 years of experience, or an architect associate track if you have over 8+ years of experience. Right. So this is point number one that I would like to articulate, so that all four certifications are covered in your training. Now, how does our training work? Let's also understand, right? Excuse me. Now, there's a training approach that we are required to follow. Amazon has put the practice in a way that they ask us to follow a certain way of training people, right? What is the certain way? Let's understand. If you see on my screen right now, it is very important that we follow well architect framework. Amazon has a well architect framework, which will tell us where to start and where to end. Right? And if you're stuck in between, what is a deviation that you need to take to mitigate or damage control your implementation, right? So it clearly says that we need to learn, measure, and build using architectural best practices. So what are those best practices that we will learn, which will help us? If I scroll down here, the couple of best practices that we have, for example, operational excellence. Right, so we are all part of some operation, right? We work in shift, we work over a weekend, we take on-call support, we get tickets where we look into the issue and we remediate, and most of us will sit in bench and do nothing. But again, we're a part of some operation, right? So whatever the work that we are doing within our operation, whether we are in a knock, sitting in a knock, or we are part of a SOC or RIM, we are doing some kind of a troubleshooting, some resolution that we are providing. We are working on some cases, right? So Amazon has its own operational methodology. Basically, it means that Amazon has done a lot of automation. They have baked in a lot of automation into the system already, right? So we will teach you the best practices to take advantage of the existing automation that is baked in, to ensure that you excel in your day-to-day job, right? You don't feel like you're burdened, or you don't feel like you're lost in the platform, right? You will understand, okay, for this, where I have to navigate and what services that I need to consume to do my work. So operational excellence capability is what we will teach you as part of the best practice, so that you get familiarized on how you can use this tool to ensure that you work less, you work smartly. Right, security, very important aspects, right? They will ask you in your interview also, right? What are the best practices about security? How do you deploy customer security on the cloud platform? What is data localization? How do you integrate VPN tunnel in your network? How do you install SSL certificate in your application, right? So one t-shirt cannot fit all, right? So there are different use cases for securing different services, right? So we will teach you all these security best practices here, so that you can confidently go and discuss this in your interview to ensure that you cash in your job. Reliability, right? Works, something works, right? We all go to office today, right? By getting into an office, the first thing that we think is, yeah, we should have less incidents today, we should have less work today, so that I can devote my energy on something else, probably study or watch a movie, or give some time to my friends, right? You always have this thought process, but it doesn't happen all the time. You always have issues. Your tickets are always, your knock is always noisy, some or the other issues you guys will be working on, right? So the reason why it works is because the architect who has set up your environment within your company has taken the shortcut. So it breaks more often. Because it breaks more often, they have hired you to fix it, right? But in this training, we will teach you how to take the most complex approach, right? Such as how do you mitigate single point of failure, designing an infrastructure that is highly available, right? Having a load distribution across, right? So that if one environment is loaded high, the other can be offload that, right? Self-healing, if it fails, if it crash, it can auto remediate, fix the problem, automatically come back line, right? Or auto scaling, can scale up and down, right? So these are the some of the best practices that we will teach you, and again everything is in practical, so that you guys can take the most complex approach, so your infrastructure will fail less, therefore you will have less issues in your work, and your infrastructure will work reliably, and so that you can devote your time to do something else, probably upskill or learn something, right? So the right way of doing things. So there are a couple of more well architect frameworks that we can discuss, but I will take this journey in your class and explain you what are the other aspects of well architect frameworks that you need to focus at while you're implementing your projects, right? So this is our training methodology. We follow well architect framework from Amazon, and we ensure that you get best of the knowledge, right? So after this, what? After your training is done, and by the way, guys, this is the job oriented training. So when I say job oriented training, that means 60% we will do practical, 40% we do theory, right? The reason why we do practical, because nobody wants to do theoretical training. Nobody wants to come and see English, but you can do it on internet, right? Everybody wants live projects. Everybody wants hands-on experience, and everybody wants to take this experience and go work solo. Wherever that you go, you should be ready to work solo. You should be ready to work by yourself, right? So that kind of a hands-on experience training is what people are looking for. So we have absolutely make sure that we do 60 to 70% practical. We show you live projects, real life scenarios we will show you, so that you can confidently go and discuss this in your interview. And then also, wherever that you go and work, whatever that you have learned here, you can replicate your skills there, right? So it's a project based training, it's a live training and a practical training that we do. So after this training, what? Right, there is hand holding. We have a hand holding process where we hold our students hand, and this is very important, and that is why we are very successful. When it comes to hand holding, we are very successful. So once the training is done, our relationship starts, right? So what we do is we prepare your resume. Only a trainer can put your resume together. So we do your resume. This is very important, right? So a lot of times what happens, sir, I'm not getting a call. I have uploaded my resume everywhere. I've sent resume to my friend. Nothing is working out, right? These are the questions that you will have, right? So it is very important that you sit with your trainer. Your trainer will choreograph your resume in such a way that he will narrate a story with your previous experience in AWS training that you have done as a single project, and the same story you can take and you can discuss in your interview. So your trainer will sit with you to ensure that your resume is done. Point number one. Point number two is we will only prepare you for the interview, right? See, what happens is if I tell you what you're doing today, you can at least talk to me for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Tell me what work you're doing, what tickets you solved this week, whether you're sitting in bench and watching YouTube, whatever work you have, right? You can talk to me for 10, 15, 20 minutes and tell me your roles and responsibilities and activity at office. You're with me, right? But when you're learning any new technology and when you sit in the interview, you'll never have content to talk. You don't know where to start. You don't know where to end. You don't know what questions they will ask. You don't know how to start an interview, right? So we will prepare you for the interview. We will tell you how to discuss, how do you start a conversation, how do you ensure that you avoid hurting interviewers' ego, right? All that we will do workshops here to make sure that we prepare you for the interview and you have successful rounds cleared, right? So that you get a job. So once we train you for the interview, you have to give interview. We will not give. So you have to go and give your own interview, right? So to go and give interview, you need a job, right? You need to have a job opening. So what we do is we will only find and give you jobs. So you don't have to go and hunt for it. We have our job services here, and this is free for lifetime. So if you see here, we have built a Slack channel, and every day we are posting a lot of jobs. Right. So let me show you latest data here. We have 62 DevOps jobs alone in Bangalore. Right. We have 91 jobs on AWS. Right. This is today's data. So let me go back yesterday. So if you go to the yesterday's section, we have 38 jobs on AWS, 24 on DevOps. So usually what we are doing is you don't have to go and hunt for the job. We will only find and give you a job, right? Once you're placed, and if you come back and say, hey, I'm not happy with what currently I'm doing, right? I need something alternative to this. Guys, requesting you to please put yourself on mute. right? So we'll only find and give you jobs, and this job service is free for life, right? So keep finding and giving you jobs so that you can apply for, right? And even if you're not satisfied with the job that you've got and you want to make a switch, still the service is free. You can take advantage out of it and you can find a better job and you can pursue your interest there, right? So after finding job wherever that you go, there might be a possibility that you will be the first one in the company from a cloud domain, all right? Or you have some work that you have to do solo, or you are an individual contributor, or you might work with a team and you're stuck with a problem, right? Whatever it is, you'll always have some hiccups while you're working, right? And typically what we do is we go to google.com, we type the error message, look for the error or an issue on the internet and try to remediate that problem. Guys, please put yourself on mute, guys. Thank you. Right? So you'll always have some problem. So either you will go to Google to take a help, or you can reach out to trainer. So what we have done is we have created AWS on-job support assistance here. It's a portal that we have created. And as part of this portal, what we're trying to solve is we are trying to give you a lifetime on-job support on AWS. So whatever the issues that you have at work, wherever that you are stuck, you can come back and post us questions here, and I will do most of the answering and I will help you out. I will rescue you from the problem. If I'm traveling or if I'm not available, you will see we have over 291 students that are already registered here, right? And these are your students are your seniors, right? Your seniors are there so that they can help you to come out of this problem. So you can use the system. It's a lifetime on-job support. You don't have to pay for it. You can get access for the lifetime and you can take benefit of it, and you can take all the technical helps pertaining to AWS domain, right? So lifetime on-job support is also taken care. And lastly, examination. Right, it is very important to crack the certification here, and we have an excellent track record on certifications. Let me show you a couple of certifications here. Mm. So if you see here, Gokul Krishna has completed the certification on July 27th, right, from my previous batch. Let me show you a couple of latest one here, right? Akhib, he's completed in August last month. So we have Sovik Day, right? So these are the students that have completed the certification last month. If you see August 11th, 2018, right? So we have a very good track record of our students cracking examination. We heavily emphasize on quality training here, and there are a lot more. I can show you half a dozen certificates if I keep going up. There are a lot of certifications that you could see here. Prashant Kumar, right? Bashir Khan, right? Kevin Phillips, right? So a couple of students, a lot of students that have cracked the paper here, right? So how is it possible, right? Why we have such a good success rate in terms of cracking examination? So what we have done is we have question dumps here. If you see here, we have question dumps and we have captured all the questions that comes in your examination. And if you see, over 280 students have attempted on the top. So system will ask you a question for which you will have 4 answers. You have to select the answer. If you fail, don't worry. The system will tell you that you have selected the wrong answer. This is the right answer, right? And we have all the questions. Again, dumps are also free. You don't have to go pay money for dumps, look on the internet and all, nothing, no nonsense. And we have latest dump. And in fact, Amazon has updated their question papers and we also have that dumps, right? Or remember, if you don't want to write your exam now, or after 6 months you come back and say I want to write my exam, if the dumps are changed, still not to panic, we'll still give you free dumps, right? The updated dumps will give it to you. It's a service that is free for lifetime again, so you can access these dumps for your life. You can appear exam whenever that you want, and you can also take mock exams for free. Keep practicing it until you get it right, and then you go back and give real examinations. So I showed you the certification. We have an excellent track record of cracking examinations. So these dumps have helped them to clear the examination, right? So after this, what is next? right? We will only do resume, we'll prepare you for the interview, we will only find and give you jobs, we will give you lifetime on-job assistance for AWS domain, we prepare you for the examination so that you can pass. And finally, revision. Sometimes what happens, due to some reason you did not attended the classes, or you have attended it but you did not understand, or maybe you attended and you forgot. Incidents have happened where students have come back after 2 months, 3 months, after 6 months, and requested, sir, can we attend the whole batch again? And we have given permission. So all I'm trying to tell you is you're entitled to receive unlimited revision, so you can attend as many times as you want and as long as you want. For this training, you can come back and attend revision. You don't have to pay anything, because I understand that when I started my journey, I did not understand the first time. I had to take twice or thrice training before I could get it right. Right? We all come from different technologies and different domain, so I completely understand that. So that is why we promise unlimited revisions. And lastly, right, we allow you to download videos. We are not like any other training center that you have to log in online and you have to be online to watch the video. Your lectures, you're allowed to download it, and you're also allowed to share it with your friends. So you can download it, you can give it to your friends, whatever you want you can do. It is up to you, but we will allow you to download our content. All the trainings are downloadable. We will give you authorized AWS soft material. You don't have to go and purchase on Flipkart for this. You don't have to pay and buy books. We will give you everything for free, right? And then all the training we'll do practical, and we have practical notes also. You don't even have to write notes. That is also pre-written. All the steps are pre-written for you, right? So with that said, I will conclude my discussion today. So if you have any questions, let me know. I will take them now. Otherwise, I will see you in the class.